can't get this thing to just stay up. I don't know why this is so difficult. Could you just... Okay. There we go. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Ida Hour. I'm back for another week, for another episode. We are here in the aftermath of the Charlie Kirk assassination, the brutal slaying of a man, the public execution of a man in front of us in 4K, live streamed. We are here post memification of culture. We are here, in the aftermath of the martyrdom of Jimmy Kimmel. The late great Jimmy Kimmel. We're basically memorializing him, although he's back on TV. He's back doing his thing, crying as he does. We're all supposed to be as moved by him as we were, the Charlie Kirk memorial and the what his wife had to say, and so there's that. There was another shooting today, another day, another shooting in Dallas, my hometown, from another psychopath. The bullet said anti-ice. It's weird. It's just kind of like saying he's anti. It's not saying like F ice. It's just saying anti-ice. So that's interesting. From another like World War II era gun, similar to the one that Tyler Robinson used to brutally kill Charlie Kirk in front of us. There's a lot of rumors that say that it was Israel, although there's no evidence to prove that. It would seem they'd have a good motive. And Netanyahu's been acting really weird in the fallout, the aftermath. Trump's been behaving a bit off as well. Everything just seems kind of creepy and weird. It feels like this happened a long time ago because so much has happened since then, but it really happened on September 10th. So the day before 9/11. Another big event that people say a certain part of the world had something to do with that we didn't really, I'm not talking about Afghanistan or Iraq for that matter. So it's been weird. I didn't really know what to even say. I've been so creeped out by, I mean, at this point, I'm probably beating a dead horse because so many people have already talked about this, but I just felt really creeped out, especially by like the flippant kind of jokes in the immediate wake of his death. So it's now been a few weeks, or a couple weeks rather. I don't even think it's been a few weeks. It might have been 2 weeks. But like the immediate jokes that followed what I thought was one of the most graphic executions I've ever seen. I'm still really jarred by it. I'm still really disgusted by it. It affected me deeply, and I did not like Charlie Kirk at all. In fact, I made fun of him quite a bit before he died. And I regret that now, not because I didn't have a reason to make fun of him. I think in the moment, I really thought I was justified in doing so because I didn't like his position on Israel. I found it to be really cowardly and stupid. And I didn't find any of the things he said about Israel to be in America's best interest. And I thought he was a great representative of America. Or if he is such a great representative of America, then why is he supporting the one country that is doing a lot of bad deeds here and using us to do it? That being said, in the aftermath of it, I've realized while I was right about my distaste of his Israel position, I wasn't really thinking so much about who he was as a person. I just kind of took that one take and dismissed him as a human being entirely because of that take that he had and because of the shilling he did for them. And I just thought it was inexcusable. I still think in many ways it's inexcusable. I don't agree with that. I I don't agree with that whatsoever. That being said, there's a lot of other great things he did. You know, I'm not even really someone that goes to church. I grew up going to church, but I'm not a pious woman by any stretch. I believe in a higher power. I believe in God to a degree, but I don't, and I have some spirituality, I would say, and I wanted to lean more into that, but I'm not someone who's very, outwardly Christian. I'm not going to church. But I gotta be real with you. I wanted to go to church after this. I was more so than even the graphic and brutal assassination, which truly messed with me. It just made my brain hurt, my heart hurt. It was more so than even that, it was the reactions to his death that really messed with me. Because I'm someone who's sat here multiple episodes and not just on the podcast, because I've done hours on this on the podcast, probably to my own detriment and to the point where like I'm alienating some people who are sick of hearing about this from me. But I have really been outspoken about the genocide in Gaza. Like I've really been outspoken about the Palestinian erasure being done on behalf of Israel and supported and funded by the US and a lot of other Western nations. So for me to say that I'm disgusted by people's reactions to this, like, it is not because I'm some fan of Israel. If you've seen the show, like, that is so far from the truth. But this was a human being and he was an American, and I care about America. And I feel like I've realized recently, not only do a lot of people who are born and raised in America and have generations of families that have lived in America not care about America, but they also don't seem to care about much of anything. They don't really care about the sanctity of human life. They claim to, right? So they claim to care about the Palestinian genocide. They claim to care about like whatever leftist causes are I don't know, near and dear to their hearts, supposedly. They claim to care about LGBTQ plus IAEA, whatever causes. They claim to care about like BLM or, whatever's happening to the immigrants that they like love and care for more deeply than they care about actual legal American citizens. They claim to care about all of these things, and they really put their humanity on the line for these causes. But when it comes to someone that they disagree with on, whatever issues of the day, they have no problem seeing him gunned down brutally in front of his two small children, in front of his wife, and in front of all of the world in 4K. They do not care. In fact, and I'm not even demanding that they care, right? I think it's weird if that doesn't affect you. If you see something like that and it doesn't affect you, I think something has spiritually been shut off in you and you've been desensitized to such a degree that you are unable to feel anything anymore unless it's for like a minority cause. Because you've been so separated from your humanity that like the color of someone's skin or like the things that they espouse, if it's not a darker shade or an opinion that you agree with, that you can no longer feel sympathy for them. I've just been really rocked by this whole thing because I didn't think that we would have like another George Floyd moment, or another big dividing line because of Charlie Kirk, a guy I did not like. Like, I don't know how I'm sure there's so many people who have expressed the same opinion as me. And at this point, you're sick of hearing about it, but it's my podcast. I'll talk about whatever I want. And by the way, if you don't like this show, you don't have to watch this, right? You don't have to hate watch this. You're free to do something useful with your time if you don't like it here. That's the other thing. You're free to go. You're free to go pretend to have a life. You're free to go do your laundry. You're free to go walk down the street and get some steps in, You're free to go harass your neighbor who's more important to your life than me, a complete stranger. That being said, But I urge you, if you're an American and you don't really seem to care about much of anything happening in your life, I do urge you to care about this country a little bit. As gay as that might sound, as lame as that might sound to you, as uncouth as that might seem to someone as disaffected, disillusioned, and chronically online as you yourself might be, I do urge you to care about your surroundings on some level, because this could be you. The level of shootings that are happening, I don't think we can just chalk all this up to some gun violence and we need more gun regulation. If at this point, I think everyone should carry, frankly. And I've been shooting and it's been great. Like I said in another episode, I have replaced weed with guns and shooting, and it's been nice. I feel a lot better. And at this point, it's like, I don't know what you're doing if you're not learning how to responsibly carry, because if you're of sound mind. Now, if you're not, and you are one of these chronically online people, if you're some sort of like deep internet lurker, then maybe it's not for you. But I do kind of urge you to take like some sort of stake in the country you live in. And I don't say that to be some like holier than thou, like preachy, like telling you what to do kind of thing, especially because I'm a woman. You don't want to hear that from me. But like I said, it's my show, so I'm going to say whatever the fuck I want. And you really should care. You really should care. And that's rich, coming from someone like me who's, I'm a first generation American. I'm the first one in my family doesn't have an accent. My family is Iranian, and I only live in this country because one of our, famous 3-letter agencies decided to screw with Iran. And I love Iran. I do. But the government of Iran, no thank you. Now, do I think that they're like providing a good level? Are they the only ones that's able to kind of neutralize this huge other country that we have to deal with on the global stage that's ruining the world? Yeah. So, it's not so black and white. I'm not one of these people that hates the Iranian government so much that I'm like, yeah, bring the Pahlavis back in. No. I think that's a huge issue. I think that takes sovereignty away from Iran. And I think the Iranians that are trying to get the Pahlavi, the Shah's family back in, I think they are so sorely misguided, and they have no idea really the threat that Israel poses on the world. And they're not being serious. They're not being serious. They're not taking the sovereignty of Iran seriously. And I say that with full understanding of how horrible the regime in Iran is to its people and how oppressive it can be. But I think that should be changed from within. I don't think that we need outside forces to come in and change that, because we saw what happened in the 50s and what happened in 1980 when, outside forces decided to decide what was going to happen with Iran. So that being said, I'm an American. I was born and raised here. I did live in Iran for a time when I was young, but I was born in America. I was raised in America. This is my home. And I am proud to be an American. I truly believe in Western principles. I really do. I'm really somebody who believes in the Enlightenment era thinking that has so foundationally influenced the United States. And do I think the United States is perfect? No, far from it. In fact, if you've seen this show before, you know how much I don't think that. I think so much of our foreign wars and foreign entanglements are the biggest thorn in our paw. Okay, in a lot of the regime change wars and the horror that we've inflicted upon the world throughout our time as the global empire, I am ashamed of it. But I am not ashamed to be an American. I'm so proud to be an American. I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. And I wake up every day, no matter how many problems I have ailing me, of which I have several, just like everybody else. I am so deeply grateful to be here. And when I see the flippant, kind of disgusting reactions to someone dying just because there's issues all over the world and just because there's issues here at home that affect everybody, this is an assassination. If you're someone who's never understood anything about politics, then maybe you don't really understand the gravity of that, but you should try. And if you don't understand the gravity of it, then sit that conversation out. You don't need to sit there and make disgusting jokes. This isn't your big moment, okay, to make a 5K heart joke on Twitter or on X, whatever, so that you can get a few thousand likes, and make yourself happy for the night, make your ego boost a little bit, because nothing in your life is materially bringing you that ego boost. So you need to outsource all of your happiness through some algorithmic notification boost. And if you have to do that at the expense of a family and some children who just lost their father and a country who's weaker because of this assassination, then you are gross. You're gross. You're un-American in spirit, even if you have citizenship. And if you claim to be some ally, okay, of the disaffected, of the oppressed, which you guys can sit here and act like gay people are oppressed in America all day long, go try being a woman in the Middle East. Please leave all of that BS at the door for 5 minutes. This was a man who was not a criminal. He never did anything to harm another person. Did his words align with the opinions of me or a lot of other people? No, not always. But that is the point of being an American. Like, if you don't have any idea what the Bill of Rights means, what the Constitution means, then how dare you even walk around here? It's because of people that uphold these values that you even get to be a citizen here. And for you to completely devalue that, I would be saying the same thing if Ben Shapiro got gunned down in front of me. I hate Ben Shapiro. And to me, in my mind, they were effectively the same person. But these are American citizens. And Charlie Kirk was a Christian man. Ben Shapiro's loyalty actually lies mostly to Israel. I think Charlie Kirk got caught up and he was having a spiritual change. And regardless of that, if he got gunned down in this fashion in front of his children, you better believe I'm not going to say a horrible word about him right after this happens. That doesn't mean you have to be dishonest about the legacy he had, right? But there's so many people on the internet. I mean, the dumbest people I know on the internet are sitting here using out of context quotes about Charlie Kirk. It's well, the guy said he didn't believe in empathy. They're like, Charlie Kirk himself said that empathy is a word that's used that shouldn't even be a word. And I'm like, okay, so do you agree with him? Because you're not showing him any. You're not showing him any empathy. First of all, that quote's completely taken out of context. And if you look at that actual quote in the context he was saying it in, I think he was making a great point. But let's just say for, hypothetically, let's just say you're right. And he was just saying empathy as a concept is bad. And that he's saying that everyone should be a sociopath, right? Which is not what he was saying. But let's just say for kicks that is what he was saying. So you effectively agree with that sentiment if you're not willing to show him any empathy. But you're so stupid, you're so intellectually handicapped that you can't even see your hypocrisy as you perform it in front of me with the utmost confidence. As you display that hypocrisy in front of me, there's not a fiber of your being that recognizes how stupid you look. And because of that, I guess I have to just say, okay, well, you're so dumb, I can't even entertain this conversation with you. So if you think that because Charlie Kirk said that empathy is this bad concept and it's a bad word, and we just, okay, well, then he doesn't deserve empathy either. I'm like, well, then you agree. You completely agree. You've turned off your empathy receptors. So you're effectively doing what you think Charlie Kirk, the guy you don't like, was telling you to do in that moment. So anyways, and that's just one of the things that they're taking out of context, and a lot of these people that are shitting on him, it's they don't even really care about his Israel stance. That's not even the one thing that really grinds their gears about him. That was the one thing that really was grinding my gears about him, was his Israel stance. I didn't really care about anything else he was saying or doing, and none of it mattered as much because the sheer scale of the atrocity in Gaza that's being perpetrated against Palestinians is of such a higher magnitude than anything he could have said about trans rights or gay rights or race relation. None of this stuff is as important to me because we do have laws that protect American citizens, that protect Black citizens, that protect trans citizens, that protect gay citizens, that protect women, all the people that you think he was coming for, with his words as his weapons. These people all have civil rights. They all have the unalienable rights in the Bill of Rights, which if you haven't read it, I highly recommend. Okay, 10 out of 10 on Goodreads. Read the fucking Bill of Rights and you'd know that these people have those rights. And another right they have is to have free speech. So anybody can say anything they want about those people. And it's protected under the First Amendment. But what do the Palestinians not have? advocates that can make a difference in their lives. As many advocates as they have, it doesn't matter because they're being blockaded, aid isn't getting in, and they're getting shelled every day, right? So I didn't like his stance on that. But I still have a deep love for America. And he was an American political person. He was killed for political reasons, okay? He was probably a future presidential candidate. And the more you guys shit on him, the more I realize he might have been a really good one. Because if he was in fact having this spiritual change, then he would have been a fantastic president for the US. If he was going to stop the American alignment with Israel, then that would have been fantastic. He also advised Trump not to bomb Iran. Another thing he was reprimanded for, but he was very, very, very courageous and right in doing that. But all the idiots going after him, they have no semblance of understanding of foreign policy. They have no semblance of understanding outside of like the niche issues that MSNBC has shoved down their throats for the past 10 years and forced them and brainwashed them into caring about. So all they can see is like, well, he's a racist. First of all, I've not heard him say a single racist thing. Not once. I've looked too. I've really like dug deep to look. He spoke with everybody that he came across with kindness, with respect, with, patience, more patience than I would have speaking to half those people. He liked the South Park episodes about him, which tells me a lot about his humility. He told OnlyFans girls to stop doing that. He told them to get married, to have children. These are great things. Whether you're Christian or not, these are great things for society. And they're dying out culturally. It's dying out because having a kid's a luxury item. Having a house is a luxury item. In fact, having a place to live is a luxury item these days. There is no more middle class. And it turns out that there's also no more middle ground, right? Like not only is there not a middle class, we've been dealing with that issue for a while. There is no middle ground anymore between like weird antisocial internet lurker and reasonable person who wants good things for society. Where's the middle ground? Like this whole event has shown me that does not exist in the way that we thought it did. We understand that the middle class is dying out. It has been dying out for quite some time, but I didn't quite understand the dividing line being this clear between regular, respectable people in society, people that care, people that have an interest in this whole thing going on, and people that are completely demented and possessed by nihilism and irony and depression. And they have been radicalized by the deepest, darkest corners of the internet, the shittiest chat rooms on Discord, the weirdest cultural communities, if you want to call it that, on Reddit or whatever else, 4chan. I don't even know. I mean, I was starting to get, like, before this whole thing happened, I was starting to get so annoyed with the people that are like, touch grass. Because, like, the people who are saying that are always online saying it. So I'm like, okay. But now I'm like, no, we need that. No, we need people to be grounded. I'm so grossed out. I'm so grossed out by the people who have no stake in the game of America. Like that is not to say that I agree, once again, with the foreign relations decisions that America has made, especially since the Cold War. I do not agree with so much of that. I think like Harry Truman brought about some of the worst times in American history. And since his presidency, the 3-letter agencies have been kind of like telling us what to do. But that aside, there is still an America to love. Like there is still an America to care for. And if you're one of the people that lives here, especially if you're one of the people that lives here and you sit here and give all of your loyalty to other people outside of this country and don't have any left to give to America, then you're a traitor. You're a traitor. You can absolutely criticize America's foreign entanglements and regime change wars. You can absolutely criticize those things, but you need to be able to draw a line like between your loyalty ending in America and starting somewhere else. It shouldn't. You can absolutely advocate for these innocent Palestinians getting bombed and shelled every day and still have your loyalty be to America. Because if you're going to have a family and you're going to have children, then you best believe that the well-being of this country is so, so imperative to you. But I guess if you don't want children and you don't care about your life and everything sucks and you're just going to get into like bussy porn and turn into a furry, then sure, maybe it doesn't matter at all what happens here. But I urge you, if that's like something that you're afflicted with, to get out of it, because we need you. Like, we need the internet lurkers to grow up and get better. Like, and I've realized this because I've had to do some self-reflection myself. I'm like, okay, I got to lower my screen time. I got to get off of like Reddit for good. I don't want to be on Reddit. And I'm not that I'm on Reddit that much. I'm really not. But even like whatever, the 5 minutes a week that I'm on that app, it's like, I don't need to do that ever again. I don't need to do that ever again. I don't need to be involved in these little things. You know, I think I've been on Discord enough times that I could count on one hand, but that's too many. It's too many times. It's a weird world in there, and it's not one that really should exist. If you're spending all your time on those apps, like, you are not well. And even if you are well, there's a whole community of people on those places that are urging you to not be well. They want to drag you down with them. And there are probably perfectly sane people on those platforms that are going to eventually lose their agency over their mental faculties, because a lot of people in there are not well. They're just like addicted to anime. They're addicted to like weird perversions. It's a niche, like strange, quasi, I don't know, neo-Marxist, weird. It's just bizarre. It's all bizarre. None of them have their own faces. They all look like bunny rabbits in like, but they're like Sonic the Hedgehog, and everything is like a weird highlighter, pink or blue, and they're like adults LARPing as children, and they're mutilating their bodies, not because they really feel like they're another gender oftentimes, but because they just don't even know what they are anymore. They're like a cat or like a squirrel. I don't know. It's bizarre. And you start to like not be able to understand how these are like regular people. I'm like, do you pay taxes? Like, are you in society? Have you dated another person who's not mentally afflicted? Have you ever participated in anything normal at any point in like, I don't know, the last 5 years? Has anyone ever slapped your wrist and said, get off your phone now? It's time to go. It's time to end this. We have to go to like Nana's birthday party now. Have you ever been met with reality? So it's just been hard. It's been hard like dealing with people that I ordinarily would probably sympathize with. Like, I'm someone who's been, irony pilled on the internet, and I've sourced a lot of my humor through like nihilism and whatever, irony and sarcasm and just like cynicism and just being like, who cares? Like, whatever. And like, I'm starting to get to the point where I'm like, yeah, that's kind of gross. I kind of missed earnesty. Like, I miss earnesty. I miss caring. I don't care how gay or lame or retarded or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't care how stupid I seem. I do want to like have kids and like be a part of society. Like, I do aspire to do those things. So for me, I have to grow up. Like, I have to level up. And this has been a wonderful turning point, no pun intended, for me to do that. Really, it's a breaking point. Love that show too. But it's like, it is a breaking point in society. Like, it is it's just been a gauge for me to see how far gone so many people are. People that I thought were, and not to be cliche, it's like people that I really respected, I don't respect them anymore. But honestly, like, but the thing is I have enough decency to probably not talk about it to them, to their faces. But there are people that I've seen online, like there was one status I saw. There was one little tweet I saw. It's from somebody I know in real life. Somebody I used to work with. What did she post? She posted, it was harrowing, to be real with you. It was absolutely harrowing. And this person is just, what did she say? Oh God, it's like there's nothing sadder. She said, this is for real. By the way, this is his body. Charlie Kirk's body is still warm, right? It's been what, 2 days that he's been dead when she posted this. She said, I'm not friends with racist transphobes in real life, so I'm not staying friends with racist transphobes on here either. The hardest part of this week has been finding out how many people I thought were my friends are absolutely not people I'd like to be associated with anymore. It's like, girl, first of all, nobody knows who you are. Okay, that's 11. Nobody knows who you are. Also, there's a lot of like racist transphobes. I'm sorry, is a racist transphobe like a demographic of person? Do you know how many black people are transphobic? What an intersectional car crash, said the great Kurt Metzger. But like, what do you do then? Do you know how many Muslim people that you claim to care about are transphobic? What happens when you run into one of them? Where does your loyalty lie? Where do you go? Do you err on the side of the Muslim or on the trans person who, like, how do you reconcile that? So, but hypocrisy is, not something that ever, or self-awareness rather, is not something that ever pervades their brains. Their brains are in just such constant sponge level, just like whatever's around me, I soak it in. I never question anything. This is who I am. Also, she's just reposting things from, she's one of the ones that posted the empathy thing. She reposted something from some account called Being Liberal. I'm like, can you try at all? Anyway. Being Liberal, and she reposted it. It said, the quote, it's just showing Charlie Kirk. It says, I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up new age term, and it does a lot of damage. Could you find a more out-of-context quote to use to denigrate someone? This was, by the way, the day he died. She reposted this. The day he got slimed brutally in front of everyone. And this girl, this white girl, regular girl, uninteresting, hipster, just completely milquetoast girl that I know, is going out of her way to denigrate a man hours after he was assassinated brutally and graphically, like it was GTA 4 in front of us, by someone who is obsessed with the internet. You feel like you're living in a simulation sometimes when I'm like, are you a real person? Are you someone I have to share space with? But you know what? That's okay. Like, I don't have to tell her this directly. I have enough decency to just talk about it on my podcast. Why would I have to talk to her about it? Anyways, these people disgust me. There is something weirdly demonic about them. And not to get so dogmatic or Christian. I'm not some theologian here, but I did go to church growing up. I used to go 2 times a week. I went Sundays and Wednesdays because my mom worked at the church. So I was there all the time in youth group, Sundays, and I didn't even really buy into most of it. But now, after seeing this, I'm like, maybe I'll go back. Maybe I will go back and accept Jesus Christ in my heart for once and for all. Because the other part of me is I just really don't agree with a lot of Abrahamic principles. That being said, though, there's so much good in Christianity that I don't know anymore. Some of these people just seem very possessed. And this is the first time in my life that I've thought about going back to church. And I don't even care for Charlie Kirk. I do now, actually, because of the way these people have reacted. But I really didn't care for what he preached most of the time while he was alive. I feel bad for that now because I've looked back at a lot of his videos and I'm like, wow, I have a whole new fondness for him. And there was a video I saw, I'll show you guys, not to make this whole thing about him. You know, there's been a lot of stuff afterwards that we should talk about, you know, but this is the story of the day. And I've been gone because I've just been so grossed out by the reactions that I really couldn't even bring myself to talk about it and just add another voice to the monstrosity of voices that are just like, I didn't want to be one of those people. So I thought I'd wait 2 weeks and then I'd be one of those people. And here I am. And yeah, so let's see, where was this video? Yeah, here we go. Just one of the good things he did, you know, just one of the many videos I've now seen of him resurface that I'm like, this was a wonderfully pious man. This was a good man. Look at a lot. I mean, yeah, okay, he didn't have the right opinion on Israel. And that's probably, in my opinion, the biggest issue ailing America. That being said, there's clearly another big issue that I didn't even know about, which is internet doom scroll radicalization. And a big problem, part of that is the porn addiction that nobody wants to talk about, and the OnlyFans addiction, and the fact that men can't get their dicks hard anymore, and women don't want to be with men because they can just be whores on the internet. And it's not good. All right. It's not good for society, but nobody wants to talk about. Actually, Daryl Cooper had such an amazing tweet about this that I would like to bring up after this. But being that this is about Charlie Kirk, I do want to play this because I think it was one of the videos I saw that I was just like, wow, how did I ever make fun of this guy? Like, damn.
Conversation, even though we see things very differently. And if you're engaged in the creation of that content, I think God has a better plan for you. I know that might sound preachy and not what you want to hear, but maybe you'll have an encounter with God, and Jesus loves all of you, and he can transform your life. He transformed my life, and every day is a new day, and it's a hopeful, beautiful life ahead of you. And God loves every single one of us. We're all sinners, and Jesus died
I mean, you've
for
definitely
us.
been the most respectful one that I've seen.
Well, thank you. That's very
met.
very kind, and I can tell you it's not me. If it was me, I'd be yelling and screaming. It's the Holy Spirit. It really is. I know it might sound silly, it might sound cliche, but Jesus has gone to work on my life. And so God bless you guys. Thank you for a great discussion.
Charlie, thank you for coming.
Thank you guys for a respectful conversation, even though we see.
He's talking to a bunch of OnlyFans hoes, and this is what he said to them. He spoke to their humanity. He looked at them like human beings. I can tell you, I wouldn't really look at them like human beings. I'd look at them as a bunch of whores. I'm changing. I'm trying to change. I see him just do that and I'm like, wow, damn. Okay, so that's what Jesus does. Then great. I don't know how to just put all my faith into one of these books. I really don't. It just disagrees with a lot of what I believe in and don't believe in, frankly. But that is so beautiful. It's so moving. It's so touching. The way he talked about his wife and the way he talked about his children, I mean, it's brought me to tears. It's brought me to absolute tears. I don't know what else to say to you guys. But you guys think that you can't feel sadness for this person and also feel sadness for Palestinians. That's the issue. You think you can't feel bad for this person and feel bad for minorities. Yes, you can. Yeah, you can, because what's the common denominator? You're all human beings. Like, this is a human being. You should have some sympathy left to give to people that are unlike you. Because how will you ever expect anyone to care about you if they fundamentally disagree with everything you're about? And all these people that claim to be, allies. I'm an ally. Of what? Of a certain type of human? It doesn't make any damn sense. They're like, this is Islamophobic, and it's like, have you ever lived in a Muslim country? Do you understand what that is? Do you understand that the way your women's rights advocacy just does not line up with your Muslim advocacy? Fundamentally at all, whatsoever. But here's the great news. You can advocate for the humanity within all of these subsets of people. That is what he did. And yes, he had the wrong opinion on Israel, but I fully believe he was changing his mind. I do. I don't know that Israel did anything to set this up. I'm not going to say that. I think there's a big leftist, they don't want to be held responsible for what Tyler Robinson did. And they don't want to admit in a lot of ways how horrible a lot of these online communities are that claim to be far left. And I'm not saying all of the far left people are this way. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. But there is a lot of weird community. There are a lot of weird communities that are involved in far left activities that it's all coming to light. But you know, life makes hypocrites of us all. That is true. That is certainly true. But this was a good man. You know, this was a good person. I can't look at this video and say that this was a guy who was a net negative on society, because he stated his opinions, and sometimes those opinions didn't line up with like our perceived reality. But what it did do was advocate for the family structure in the US, which is, we might not value that right now. And a few years ago, I wouldn't have even been saying this, but I am saying it now. Now we're going to start valuing it, because this is going to be a minority majority country very soon. Like, the demographic is changing in the US, and you can pretend like your allyship of minorities and oppressed peoples is like your biggest prerogative in life, but pretty soon you're going to be the minority. And who's advocating for you? Who's advocating for you? Well, this guy was trying to. He was trying to say, hey, if you have a family structure, that is godly and great. And it's going to be the thing that saves you from the wickedness of the world, which exists in so many different factions. On Discord, on Reddit, on Twitter, in real life, at the grocery store. There's a lot of terrible shit. There's a lot of crime. There's a lot of cultures that are not meshing well in this country. And you don't have to agree. I think ICE went overboard in a lot of ways. And I was someone who really agreed with the immigration policies of the Trump administration, but I think they're not doing a lot of what they said they were going to do. And they're doing kind of the opposite. And the detaining of legal immigrants, I think that's completely wrong and backwards. Do I think alligator Alcatraz is tacky? Yeah, I do. But the concept of immigration and having borders, I deeply, deeply agree with, because I really value low crime. The Irina girl on the train, which absolutely broke me right before this broke me. And you ain't going to catch me on public transport, I'll tell you what. You ain't gonna catch that at all. I wept watching that video. Imagine escaping war, your war-torn country, to get killed on a light rail in North Carolina. And that was racially motivated. So for people who are saying that that's not racially motivated, check yourself. It is. But nobody wants to talk about the fact that white people are human beings too. You think that this innate privilege that they have completely cancels out any sympathy that you're able to feel towards them as human beings. And that's wrong. It's hypocritical. It's disgusting. And it's un-American. And I really do care about America. I really can't stress this enough. And it's so weird being in LA and New York, where that's an uncool thought to have. Because those are the best parts of America. Let's just be honest. Those are the greatest parts of America. And it's not simply because they're multicultural epicenters. That's a great part of it too. I really value the Mexican cultures in LA and in Texas too, for that matter. And in New York, you get all these amazing Italian restaurants, and there's just so much culture, and it's so incredible and it's so beautiful. At the same time, you have to recognize that not all of these these amazing cultures don't always mesh well, and there's not always great police enforcement and law enforcement in some of these areas. And I'm not saying the law enforcement's perfect. No, they're not. But we need to better fund them. Defunding the police is the worst thing you can do, especially in today's society. And I sound lame to a lot of people for saying this, but I'm someone who in many ways has been one of these nihilistic, irony pilled, Bernie bro type people. When I was young and he was running, I was very, ooh, yay. But I was a kid also, And I still love him. But he's very much also the same on borders as me. Bernie was always like, yeah, we need no open borders. In fact, that's been one of my issues with libertarianism. Except sometimes libertarians are great on borders. So it depends on the libertarian we're talking about here. Anyways, in better news, it looks like the Ellison family is going to also own TikTok, which really sucks. I've been going on TikTok a lot lately. I really love TikTok Live. I don't know how I'm allowed to do it because I don't have 1,000 followers. I don't want to out myself here, but I think I have decent engagement, and so they like gave me the right to do it. I like asked ChatGPT. I was like, "Why? I thought I had to have 1,000 followers, like you do." I was like, "Okay, then why? Did I want to slip through the cracks or something? How am I allowed to do this?" But it's great. It's also a hellhole. I mean, TikTok Live is a hell, but it can be fun. And you know, if buying CBS and Paramount and Comedy Central and HBO and all that's not enough for them, you know, the Ellison family and The Free Press by Barry Weiss, which is valued at $250 million. If that's not enough for them, they also need to come for TikTok. Sad. They might get HBO and Comedy Central, which the Redstones already own. Which I found out the Redstones are actually the Rothsteins, but they didn't want any affiliation with Arnold Rothstein, so they changed their name to Redstone. It's kind of like the Succession family, like Logan Roy, but yeah, the Charlie Kirk thing really. Also, like, where was the security that day? Are we not checking rooftops all the time everywhere? The shooter in Dallas today who shot the ICE facility, it's so weird. Also, also from a rooftop. Yeah, and then the rooftop where they tried to kill Trump, like the rooftops need to be secured. What are we doing out here, folks? Like, this was a God-fearing, Jesus-loving man, and I love the attitude of God's got me and God will protect me, but it's also like your piousness is fantastic, but it's like Jesus is not securing the perimeter here. We need to have security. We need to have adequate security to stop these psychopaths from scaling these buildings and pretending like they're in GTA 4. Like, this is not American Sniper. This is real life. If you're going to have these public debates, there needs to be adequate security and law enforcement. I don't think there was any security at this event. And I don't hear enough people talking about how completely unacceptable that is. It is unacceptable. Assassinations are not just bad for the family that it affects, which it absolutely affects his family more than anybody else, but it is bad for the country. It weakens us on the world stage. It weakens us internally. It stows unimaginable levels of dissent within our society. It stokes flames and civil wars and more violence, which we're now seeing in Dallas. And that one kid who was wearing the same thing as the Tyler Robinson shirt, the shooter who like was shitting all over the memorial, that little 19-year-old scumbag whose mom, like, I don't know. This is like some 19-year-old kid was like wearing the same shirt as the shooter, like trying to be the shooter. It's just so gross. It's so gross. We need to have adequate security at these events. People are losing their minds, and I actually really sympathize with the people losing their minds. I don't think it's completely their fault. I think there's been a lot of economic and societal shifts that we are just like duly unprepared for. Like, and the internet is one of those things. But God, like when I have children, they're going to have deep monitors on the internet. It is not going to be a free-for-all at all. Like, they are going to be monitored. There's going to be guardrails. I don't care if I'm some like helicopter mom. Like, not my kid. Like, this is not, it's just not going to happen. You ain't going to find my kid getting radicalized on some fucking Discord server, getting into troon porn. That's not happening. No. It's just not happening. I heard he was like a Gamp. The Perry Abbasi online was saying that. He's so funny. Also, he's Iranian. he was like, he was the first one to be like, there were all these like reporters that were like, Perry Abbasi, thank you for tweeting that Tyler Robinson was a chaser and a gamp. We previously didn't know what these words meant, but it's like, I knew what a chaser was. I didn't know what a gamp was, but I had to look it up. And, you know, people say, oh, also anyone saying that this was a groiper, you clearly don't know what a groiper is. You're out of your mind. Also, Nick Fuentes is the best podcaster alive right now. There's nobody who's doing better broadcasts than him. Do I agree with everything he says? No. Guess what? That is not a necessary prerequisite for me to fuck with somebody. Is he a fantastic communicator? Yes. Is he funnier than any comedian out there right now? Huge yes. Is he also accepting that he has a bigger responsibility now after Charlie Kirk's assassination? Absolutely yes. He's matured like 10 years in 5 days since this happened. And I hope he continues to, because he does have and he does it nightly. You know, this is somebody who, the episode he did right after Charlie died, it was one of the best things I've ever heard in public broadcasting ever. It moved me. It inspired me deeply. And I never thought I'd be somebody that said this, because I was told that he was like a dangerous figure and whatever. But anybody who understands what a groiper is knows that a groiper could not have done this. They were trying to get him to debate Nick. They didn't want to kill him. What's wrong with you? Also, everything he wrote on the Bella Ciao, anti-fascist. No groiper is writing anti-fascist anything. Okay, that's just not true. That's not to say they love fascism. It's just like, that is not their credo. Like, that is not that's not what they do. Okay. So, and also what is it? Catch this. Oh, bulge, whatever. That's also not, that's weird. Leftist, furry, chaser, meme-fi. It's just not the same thing. Yeah, so anyone saying that. Also, PBD, credit to him, had Nick on recently. And I always thought PBD was kind of I don't want to say an op, but like, I didn't understand his whole thing, because I was like, are you Persian, Assyrian, or Armenian? How are you all three, but your name sounds Jewish? Patrick Bet David. It never made sense to me. Whatever, though, he's built an incredible thing, and credit to, I'm now okay with him because he had Nick on, and I was shocked by that. He had Netanyahu on previously, and I was really grossed out by that, but I was wrong. I was overly suspicious, and I also was, to a degree, radicalized by, like, not actually radicalized, but my mind was bent in this direction of like, okay, well, the government lies to us about so much. So who's real? Who isn't? Who's fake? Who's real? You know, you start to kind of not be, the lines get blurred between authentic individuals and people that are put there like, what is it called? A limited hangout. Is it a limited hangout? And so your mind just starts, oh my God. Well, you guys, I don't know what happened. The screen went out, but I'm going to get, the audio's been going, so apologies for that. Damn, I don't even know how that happened. I think I was trying to take the screen away and I accidentally, this is not the first time this has happened. If you guys have been here since the John days, then you know that this is something that happened occasionally before, and it's cool. We roll with it. But yeah, so it turns out not everyone's a limited hangout. Even if they are, you also have to put, which I don't think he is, but you have to put that aside and actually adequately gauge whether somebody is a net negative or a net positive. And I'm so annoyed that I did that. Yeah, I put all the stuff together. I put a camera there, and that might not seem impressive, but for a woman, that is quite hard, okay? To plug these things in. And then I click the stupid button and it goes out. The fuck is that? Anyway, I'm a lady. I'm trying to work on being Christ-like, even though I don't really believe. That's the thing. Like, I want to, though. I want to. I aspire to. I will. That's so fucking annoying. God. Man, does that piss me off. That's okay. That's okay. We keep it moving. I was watching this thing on YouTube that really drove me crazy. I'll just show you guys. It's fun. Now I have to put the screen back on. Thank God for the Rodecaster. You know, it just keeps recording no matter what happens with this stupid switcher. Oh my God, it's 57 minutes. This is like the longest interview she's ever done. Are you kidding me? There's just no way. I watched part of this and she kind of alluded to the fact that like she lost the election because she like didn't go with Buttigieg as her running mate, as though that was the issue and not like her entire personality and her inability to formulate a single coherent thought.
I'm very excited to speak with her. I'm a little nervous about this interview because it's a big deal. I'll tell you. I do have one thing to tell you. Is it a big deal?
She lost.
Apart from that, before we get
started,
it's
kind of not a huge deal at all.
Just today announced that my new documentary is going to be airing here on Friday, October 17th. This is a brand new documentary I've made. It's called Andrew Young, The Dirty Work.
How is this whole episode allowed to be up?
Rachel Maddow show here on MSNBC that night at 8 p.m. Eastern. It's Friday, October 17th, and then the doc is going to air right after.
One thing that I really, really thought was hilarious is that Kamala Harris's book, I guess this is about her book, her opening page, the opening page of her book is a Kendrick Lamar quote. I screamed. I literally screamed. I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. I was ... I was born like this. Kendrick Lamar DNA. This is the opening page to Kamala Harris's book. Like, you start to convulse seeing this. You're just like, the level. The level of horror, like it is. God, do I want to punch something when I see that? At the same time, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. The first one, okay, the first quote in the opening page of her book, also a banger, right? Because Kamala Harris, presidential candidate and former vice president, said the BS word. She said a cuss word in her book, okay? Wine moms rejoice. The amount of energy necessary to refute bullshit is an order of magnitude bigger than to produce it. Alberto Brandolini. Okay, that's the first line. Second line, I got royalty inside my DNA. I was born like this, Kendrick Lamar DNA. Oh, disgusting. She disgusts me. Invoking Kendrick to shill your stupid book from a person who can't read. Anyway.
The show. So if you just pop that in your calendar for me, if you don't mind, Friday, October 17th, I will have more to tell you about it in the days ahead, but it was just announced today, so I wanted to let you know. That said, tonight we are going to be speaking with Vice President Harris. You may remember there was a sort of mantra in her campaign, a call and response that she used in her rallies. She would say, when we fight, we win. She'd say, when we fight, and then everybody would say back with her,
because there's so much more than unites us than what separates us. Those compilations were actually the funniest thing. Like, she is an SNL skit. Like, she's actually doing Maya Rudolph doing her in every interview.
And her new book is about that. The new book is called 107 Days. It comes out tomorrow. It is the story of her 107-day-long campaign for the presidency, the shortest presidential campaign.
Oh, so it's just cope. Like, the title of her book is just cope for why she lost. Girl, get out. Get out of here. Why not just write 107 excuses for being a dumb bitch? 107 excuses for failing, for not being able to put a sentence together. 107 pills that stopped me from being able to string a sentence together.
in modern history. She describes in the book on page 1 how
Oh, wait.
she learned.
107. Also, that's 10-7. Unrelated, sorry.
President Biden that he would end his
I'm not some
campaign and
numerology
hand the
person.
reins to her. She learned that news less than half an hour before the whole rest of the world learned it as well. She writes about how everybody in Democratic politics responded when she made all her first phone calls to tell everybody the news, to ask them for their support. She took notes from those calls, and she prints the notes in her book, page 17. Bill Clinton says, "Oh my God, I'm so relieved. Send me anywhere. Make this your own campaign." Hillary Clinton, "We'll do whatever we can. We'll jump on a plane. We'll get on Amtrak." Jim Clyburn says, "Let's go. I'm all in." Roy Cooper, governor of North Carolina, says, "Before you say anything, I'm all in." Pete Buttigieg says, "You are..."
You guys wonder why I got on the Trump train. You guys want to give me shit for that. And I understand. I agree with you. I've actually made several episodes since then, 3, completely conceding to that. But this woman could turn anybody into a Trump supporter, especially at that moment when their campaign was doing everything right, so to speak. Lying to us properly, saying the right thing to get, oh, yes, no, we don't want war. We'll end the genocide. Oh, we'll end it. We'll end it. We're going to, cooler heads shall prevail. Okay? This is on the other side of the election. Okay? This was on the other. Can you blame it? Can you blame me? And especially after hearing the very first part of this episode, if you're still here, I appreciate you the most. Absolutely appreciate you the most. Then you know how much I love this country. And this is not the person who should be leading this country. I mean, if you thought, I think Gaza-Lago would exist right now if Kamala had been in charge. Then again, I don't know. But she wouldn't have been any better.
A fantastic president. Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, Vice President Harris writes, quote, "He tweeted his endorsement even before I reached him." So far, so good, right? But not all the calls went like that. And this is the kind of campaign book you might diplomatically call candid, which means it is not all nice. And so we also get Vice President Harris's notes on the other responses she got. Gretchen Whitmer, "I believe you will win, but I need to let the dust settle. Talk to my colleagues before I make a public statement."
Oh, is that the tea?
President Obama says in part, quote,
That Gretchen Whitmer gave like a less than savory response to this.
"And I are supportive, but not going to put a finger on the scale right now. Let Joe have his moment. Think through timing." Nancy Pelosi says in part, "It's important that there's a process. We have a great bench. We should have some kind of primary, not an anointment." Bernie Sanders says in part, quote, "Please focus on the working class, not just on abortion." J.B. Pritzker says, "As governor of Illinois, I'm the
Bernie.
convention host. I can't commit." And then Gavin Newsom, she writes, "Hiking, we'll call back." And then she puts in parentheses, "He never did."
Gavin Newsom's starting to like become cool to everyone because he's
In
ripped a
107
page out of the
days,
Trump
you get
handbook.
Kamala Harris's thoughts on
The thing is, though, is like Gavin Newsom's hot, so he's always got that on his side. All he has to do is change his personality. So
her vice president.
Should be pretty
interviewing
easy for a
Mark Kelly
politician.
and Josh Shapiro, and then ultimately
It's obviously
choosing
going to be a
Tim Walz and
Newsom
all the
Vance
great things that
2028
were great
election.
about Tim Walz, how much
Who
in
you
particular
got?
she loved Tim Walz's wife Gwen, but she also writes about why Pete Buttigieg was her personal.
I might actually have
first
to go
choice
Newsom
for her running mate. You get her detailed thoughts on how President Biden's
because Vance, it's like he is still spiritually fat, and it shows. It shows. And I was a Vance fan, you know, less than a year ago, but things have changed. But if Newsom's gonna like open the borders up, then maybe I'm not Newsom. But he's so good looking. It's like it's difficult. Okay, it is difficult.
showed
I hate them both. You know.
he was tired, and her view that the White House basically mismanaged that. She says
Sorry.
President Biden was not incapacitated. He was absolutely capable of governing, and he was, in fact, very.
By the way, Biden's like fine right now, right? Like the videos I've seen of him, I'm like, well, how did you? It's just like that you quit being president and like suddenly you came to, and you're like, oh, I'm fine actually.
it throughout the entirety of his term. But she also writes that he was not up to the task of campaigning.
Dude, if Trump dies before Biden, holy shit.
Well for another term. And she writes
I hope
about
that
her
doesn't
regret and
happen.
her frustrations for
Obviously,
how that
I don't
was
think it'd be
handled
good for the country if the president died. It just, it would be kind of a curb moment, if you will.
by the president's senior staff. I will tell you, this book is going to sell a bazillion copies. And Vice President Harris's bluntness and clarity on those still very painful matters is going to be a big part of why. The book, as I said, goes on sale tomorrow. You will read it in one sitting. It is an unputdownable book. You should
Unputdownable.
But here's the other thing about this book.
Okay.
And about Kamala Harris in this.
You could have said page turner. Rachel.
When we fight, we win.
Right.
I mean, this is where we are right now. These were protests on Thursday and on Friday.
Protests for the
Saturday.
Kimmel suspension? Hold my earrings. The man did not die, okay? He did not get raped. He did not get beaten on the streets. He sucks. Jimmy Kimmel is not funny. He's a crybaby. He cries for fat checks. This man makes so much money, making not a single funny joke, and he used to be funny. Okay, also, when I did the meet and tweet towards Jake Gyllenhaal, they blurred my name on Jimmy Kimmel, and I'll never forgive them for that. I did a mean tweet, and Jake Gyllenhaal read it, and I'd show it to you now, but I'd probably get flagged by ABC or whatever. And they blurred my name. I could have gotten so many followers. That video got like 100 million views. I could have gotten so many followers. They used my tweet. Jake Gyllenhaal read my tweet, and I didn't even mean it. I don't think Jake Gyllenhaal's ugly. I was just on my high horse that day. I've just always thought Jake Gyllenhaal is like soft, okay? And so I made it a point to like, they scrubbed the internet to find a single mean tweet about Jake Gyllenhaal. They found mine like a year and a half after I posted it. They put it on their mean tweets, and then they blur my name. Okay, sorry, this isn't about me. Jimmy Kimmel is not some beacon of free speech, okay? He's an obnoxious person. He came out and apologized with his weird crocodile tears. Okay, I guess it's good that he said that he cared about Charlie Kirk. I agree that that's good. Whether he meant it or not is kind of irrelevant, but I don't think it seemed like fake tears to me. Although he's had very real tears, very gay real tears on his show before that I just thought were like absolutely ridiculous and embarrassing and not masculine at all. Anyway.
And on Sunday.
Protect free speech, right?
Today, all about ABC taking comedian Jimmy Kimmel.
How about
off the
free
air
speech when it comes to
from the Trump
gunning down a
administration?
guy in front of his wife and kids? This man is still alive. Jimmy Kimmel's alive and well, might I add. He's lost weight. He's probably on GLP-1. He's doing fantastic. What is this protest for? No one watches him that isn't in a nursing home or that has like, a home that they're going to pass down to one of their stupid kids. They're boomers. Nobody watches Jimmy Kimmel, nor should they. It's trash.
Directing them to do so. And those protests were in New York and in Los Angeles.
Like, I don't think it's good that they suspended him, but it's like it was fake. It was like a slap on the wrist. The joke itself was harmless, right? Saying Trump didn't care, which I agree. I don't think Trump cared nearly enough, especially when he was like talking about the ballroom and like going on Fox and Friends and like acting like this isn't a big deal. And like, yeah, but I'm giving you a big breaking news on Fox. It's like Charlie Kirk's body's still warm. Regardless, Jimmy Kimmel is not anyone. I knew he was going to come back. In fact, I made a bet about it on Kalshi, which is like another form of Polymarket, and I won like, I don't know, $15. A small bet. But they're like, when will Jimmy Kimmel come back on? And everybody was voting, saying that it wasn't going to happen for another month. I was like, these people are like, I'm going to call their bluff. They're complete pussies. He's going to come back in like less than a week. And what do you know? He came back before even I thought he would. I said he would come back before October 1st. He did.
In places like central Washington
Protect
State,
free speech.
Yakima,
You guys don't care about
Yakima,
free speech
Washington,
when a guy
and
gets
in
killed in front of his
Melchizedek, New
family
York.
for saying that like,
We saw Vice President Harris herself
maybe our
join the
biggest
calls
issue in the country
condemning
isn't
the Trump
trans
administration
rights.
And ABC for doing that. She put out a statement
that's
last
basically what he got killed for. So insofar as we know, that is basically what he got killed for. Okay, barring any other evidence that there's other things happening, which I would love it if it was Israel, because I would bring the country together and I believe in unity. But until we have evidence of that, we cannot claim that.
Calling it an outright abuse of power. We saw statements of protest from her, from President Obama, from the former president of Disney, ABC's parent company, Michael Eisner. We saw pushback from every other comedian in TV who Trump has pushed to get rid of.
Yes, it's not
Stephen
right.
Colbert,
it's not. We all know that. He's back. Bro could have gotten a podcast if he was so pissed. But he never would, because he wouldn't. He would get a few more thousand views than me, and that would be embarrassing for him. So he has to weep on TV, for his paycheck. He has to sing for his supper. Good, make him sing for his supper. He's not a funny comedian. Late night blows. Okay, late night blows. None of these people are good at late night. You know who's good at late night? That one guy on British late night, like Graham something, he has like the nice idea of putting everybody on his show. Is it Graham Norton? Yeah, it's Graham Norton. Yes, I love the Graham Norton show. This is what late night should be. And they make all the celebrities sit together and it makes for great moments. And the guy's gay and funny and he's hilarious. This is what late night should be. It should be the Graham Norton show. And they have a nice fluorescent orange background. It's very bright and engaging and it keeps your eyes glued to the screen. There's a musical guest. And that's actually my least favorite part because the conversations are always so compelling and funny. And they don't seem scripted, even if they're like lightly scripted. They're not. It's not like Jimmy Kimmel where they're bringing out like Adam Schiff and like I don't know, Lee Stefanik and being like, oh, you have a new movie coming out. Oh, were you stomp on the rights of the American citizens that you claim to represent? Like, this is not what the Graham Norton show is. It's like, hey, how about we put Matthew McConaughey next to Johnny Depp and then Sofia Vergara's there and they all have to like pretend to like each other and greatness ensues every time. And he's actually charismatic, Graham Norton. That is what late night should be. Jimmy Kimmel is pathetic. He sucks. He's not funny. And it's so sad that his least funny time, but although it's very cliche, is when he's lost weight and is better looking.
That everybody can agree what cowards they were too. We saw statements of protest from basically all of Hollywood and the music business. 400
entertainers co-sign ACLU letter supporting Jimmy Kimmel. You guys have got to be kidding me. This man was not silenced, okay? They didn't. You know who was silenced? Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. They couldn't post a tweet. They couldn't do anything. They were debanked. They couldn't get a bank account. They were on no-fly lists. Jimmy Kimmel has the ACLU being like, free Jimmy. Like, he's not in prison. He's free. He's free to have these ugly veneers that he probably spent $50,000 on at minimum. God, that looks terrible. That looks so bad. Who did those veneers? I mean, this isn't even like a 4K, 4D. This isn't even an HD photo. Terrible job. They gave him horse teeth. Anyways, I mean, this is ridiculous. This is absurd.
And the unions and the ACLU.
Meryl Streep and Tom Hanks and Jennifer Aniston. Give me a You know who I need in this show? Chet Hanks.
Celebrity you've ever heard of. And people
are you guys hitting him up, by the way? I want him on the show.
People who make shows and movies for ABC
and I know I
Disney
messed up the George Santos. George Santos wanted to do my show. He's in prison now. I messed that up, okay? And I'd like to repent by having on Chet Hanks, who I think would be fantastic.
Shows and movies for that company, again, as long as this decision stood. And what do you know? When we fight, we win.
It's bullshit, you guys.
ABC
like, this is bullshit. Of course they bring him back in like a week.
In reverse. Jimmy Kimmel will be back on the air tomorrow night.
Great.
And as for Stephen Colbert on CBS.
By the way, it's the best thing that ever happened to Jimmy Kimmel because he got 6 million viewers. It's like the most views he's ever gotten was because of this. It's the best thing that ever happened to him. It's why his tears were so fake. Like he's like, he knew he had to perform in that moment, but he was so elated and happy because he knew this was going to be a huge boost. So it's like actually a great career thing that happened to him, but I digress.
Defensible, if not more so.
Rachel.
In this new book, in 107 Days, Vice President Kamala Harris
I
writes
love how
about
she has it, like,
predicting how
postmark,
bad Donald Trump would be
Post-it
in his
notes.
second term as president. She says, quote, "I predicted all that. I warned of it. What I did not predict was the capitulation." About the groveling, scared, rich owners of the LA Times and then the Washington Post pulling their paper's endorsements of her just before the election, she says, "The pre-capitulation of these powerful billionaires alarmed and dispirited me." As it turned out, they were early adopters. As it turned out, they were early adopters of the feckless posture that would be embraced by a raft of business leaders and
Yeah, I
institutions.
never heard you use a word like
once Trump was
feckless
elected. They had
IRL.
just been the first in line to grovel.
Your ghostwriter's doing good work, though, for you, girlie.
And then she says this about what she'll do next. She writes, quote,
Is Rachel Maddow wearing fake
wanted a seat
lashes?
at the-
Because if that's the case, oh, girl, I'm clocking that. Okay, like, they might not be fake, but you using some, like, L'Oreal Voluminous Mascara with some eyelash extensions. Faux show.
She says this about what she'll do next. She writes,
And I think
quote,
Rachel Maddow is very
"I
talented, but
wanted
she
a
uses
seat at the
her
table.
talents for
I wanted
evil.
to make change from
So,
inside the system. Today, I'm no longer sure about that because the system is failing us.
all
At
right.
every level, executive,
You're a direct
judicial,
byproduct of the system,
legislative,
girly.
corporate, institutional, media, every single guardrail that is supposed to protect our democracy.
What are
is
you even
buckling. I
you
thought
are
those
the system,
guardrails
sis.
Would be stronger. I was wrong.
You're the system.
But now, of course, the election is over. And with the election now over, the fight that we're in now is to shore up those guardrails, to rebuild them where they have fallen, to make powerful people less cowardly somehow, to stop people and institutions from capitulating. And if they do capitulate,
To what,
the job
though?
now, the fight now is to get them
Capitulate
to
to
see they
what?
were wrong to do so and to get them to reverse themselves.
Right.
That is the fight now. Kamala
really
Harris
grow
says,
weary of
when
these
we
people.
fight, we win. Turns out that may be more important than ever after an election that you did not win. Joining us now for her first news interview since the election.
I
is
just
former
would
Vice
love to
President
see Rachel Maddow,
Kamala
like,
Harris. Madam Vice.
like what is that? Like one group of people that like leaks the footage of the libs or whatever. I can't remember the name, but they'll videotape people at a restaurant and like leak the footage. I'd love to see Rachel Maddow like secretly like a raging Republican in real life.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rachel.
It's good to see you.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
It's weird to talk about you with you sitting here and me pretending you're not here.
Oh, it
It's
was
nice to
awkward
talk.
for me too. It's okay.
How have you been?
I am well. Yeah, all things considered, I am well.
How have you been taking care of yourself since the election?
You know, I've
Honestly, I'd love to get drunk with Kamala though, and probably Rachel Maddow for that matter. But man, are they the worst things for this country if you put them like on a national scale? Like it's just.
I have an incredible family. I've been spending more time with them than I had for quite some time, cooking, and writing, and reflecting, and talking to a lot of people, making a lot of calls, receiving a lot of calls. So I've been busy.
Let me talk to you
Receiving
about this
a lot of calls,
capitulation.
like about what though? Making a lot of calls or receiving a lot of calls. Okay, she's just like me for real. Well, how are we different?
This really landed with
Could
me.
I have
feel like
MVP?
we're all in the middle of it, but you articulating it in the way that you do, you've
It's
become
a
the
Warhead
patron
sour
saint
spray.
of I told you so.
I've replaced weed with like candy that I liked when I was 9. That's like so sour, it like makes me think I'm like, but it makes me feel something.
In terms of people understanding the sort of warnings and predictions that you made about what Trump would be like. But you say, I predicted all of that. I warned of it. What I didn't predict was the capitulation. The billionaires lining up to grovel, the big media companies, universities, so many major law firms. I will
How many
note, including your
billionaires
husband's.
lined up to
And he
grovel
spoke
for
out
you
about it.
He's
though?
been very vocal in criticizing it. He said they've all been bending to blackmail and outrageous demands.
Yeah.
Why did you not predict the capitulation? And what do you make of the effort to try to put some steel in the spine of those institutions?
So as you know, I am a lifelong public servant.
Okay.
And but I've worked closely with the private sector over many years, and I always believed that
There she goes with
if
the hands.
push came to shove, those titans of industry would be guardrails for our democracy, for the importance of sustaining democratic institutions. And one by one by one. They have been silent. They have been, yes, I use the word feckless.
It's like an Almost Famous.
It's not like they're going to lose their yacht or their house in the Hamptons. And here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
Democracy sustains
Girl.
capitalism. Capitalism
What?
thrives in a democracy.
What
And
is
right now we are
democracy?
dealing
Have we ever like forced a Democrat to like to actually define that word?
as I called him at my speech on the ellipse, a tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump. And these titans of industry.
Wait, did you
are
call
not
Trump a
speaking
communist
up
dictator? I'm sorry. What? Let's just go
to
back for a
Donald
second.
Trump.
Hold on.
A tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now in Donald Trump.
What?
And these
That is kind of actually pretty. It is pretty good to call him a communist dictator because, like, that would really piss him off. But
titans of industry
because it's
are
completely
not
untrue.
speaking up. And perhaps it is because his threats and the way he has used the weight of the federal government to take out vengeance on his critics is something that they fear, and I get that. I understand why they do. We've seen
left did
the
that
demonstration
too.
of it. Perhaps
The
it
left
is because
silenced everybody on social media. They completely. They used every government control to silence anyone who said anything about COVID, and half those things ended up being true. But I digress.
want to please him. And
She has like the
nominate him
dinosaur
for a
hands where
Nobel
she's like,
Prize. Perhaps it's because they want a merger approved or they want to avoid an investigation. But at some point, they've got to stand up for the sake of the people who rely on all of these institutions to have integrity and to, at some point, be the guardrails against a tyrant who is using the federal government to execute his whim and fancy because of a fragile ego.
I know that your parents took you to protests in a stroller when you were a little kid, before
Yes,
you
they
were
did.
literally able to be there to walk, and that you've talked about the civil rights
seems like kind of an
movement and its
unsafe environment for a baby, but hey.
moral legacy being part of your moral core.
Yes.
I feel like a lot of the defenses
to the
that
warhead
we
sour
tried to build
spray
up
again.
in advance of this type of a sort of would-be authoritarian takeover were about warning people about how serious the threat was and warning people about what this could mean
Yeah.
and what we were in danger of. Now that we're up against it, though, I'm not sure that we have great skills to actually not warn about it, but fight it. And if the problem is the system collapsing and the guardrails, as you say, collapsing, and people who have power, who ought to be titans, not acting in any sort of
And
Titanic
standing
way.
together, because there is safety in numbers, as the saying goes.
Yes. I wonder if the American
Yeah, they weren't
people
saying
who
that at the
are
Astroworld concert
repulsed
or
by what Trump is doing and who are,
you know, in the south side of
in
Chicago,
public
but-
opinion polling very much against what he's doing, as you note in the book, are going to
Safety
be
in numbers.
turning their ire and their protest movement and their organizational capacity against these institutions that are failing as much as they are against Donald Trump himself and the administration, if that's the way the sort of resistance is headed.
So, one, back to how you opened the show. I mean, talk about the power being with the people and the people making that clear with their checkbooks as it relates to the
I love
suspension
that.
of Jimmy Kimmel.
Every
We
time
saw
a
the power of the
non-point is
people
made.
over the last few days, and it spoke volumes, and it moved a decision in the right direction.
I just heard Maya
I
Rudolph
think
doing
that
this.
part of where we are now in terms of thinking about what the fight is, it requires us, yes, to understand that we've got this administration and this president in front of us abusing the power that the people vested him with. But we also need to understand that this is bigger than Donald Trump. You know, part of what I write about, this stuff is decades in the making, Rachel. It didn't just happen overnight. You know, so much of what has indeed overwhelmed people, not to mention just scared the stuff out of people, is what we are witnessing is a high velocity event.
Yeah.
We are witnessing something
What
that has
are
been
you
happening
saying?
so
What has been
rapidly.
happening? Okay, it's bigger than Trump. What is though? But what? So say it.
And it feels chaotic.
She's never pointing to a singular issue. I mean, she is maybe the most ineffective communicator I've ever had the task of having to listen to. I never know what she's trying to say. And I'm a woman, right? I make a lot of non-points. There's a lot of non sequitur in me, okay? There's a lot of pointless in what I do. So for me to just be at a complete loss of like, what is it that you are trying to say speaks volumes.
But what I would offer you is what we are witnessing.
She really puts the
swift
oi in my
implementation
vey.
of a plan that was decades in the making.
What plan?
Decades in the making. Project 2025 didn't just drop out of thin air. That's a product.
I love it. It's like the 1619 project versus Project 2025. Everything's the same. Everyone's the same.
Decades of work. Federalist Society, Heritage Foundation. Understand that the implementation of a plan that's about trying to get rid of the Department of Education, deregulate industries, weaken the rule of law by over a period of time, creating a system and through gerrymandering states so that we would now have the Supreme Court that we have. This stuff didn't happen overnight. And it did not happen just because of an election in 2024.
Yes, I do not like the Supreme Court justices we have, and I do not like gerrymandering. I will give her that.
Where the fight must go, there is the aspect of it that is about the immediate moment, such as the weight
But
of
there's
the
a
federal
lot of
government
words to get
being
to that
used
point.
To silence critics.
She was climbing uphill to get to
and
that.
It must be about understanding.
She was running up that hill.
This did not just happen overnight.
You
and we
just
have
said
to
that
pay
50
attention
times.
to
We
an
get it.
agenda
It didn't
that
happen
is
overnight.
not
Yes,
gonna
Supreme
necessarily
Court
go
was
away when this
yes,
guy-
the Supreme Court was a project of the Tea Party. They made it happen. You could just say that. This is a 50-minute
turned out
interview.
office.
Respect our time.
Well, let me ask you on that gerrymandering front. The White House has been very aggressive, pushing Republican-led states to gerrymander their maps to effectively give Republicans a major edge heading into the midterms.
Yeah, girly,
next
they
year.
be
That has led to
redrawing these
related
districts every once in a while
responsive
whenever they
Democratic
want
efforts, including
to.
in your home state of California.
I'm
Do
sure if you were
support
president, you wouldn't give a
Democrats'
fuck.
effort to kind of
But
fight
because you're
fire?
jobless and broke, okay, like a lot of people I know, and this is maybe not broke, jobless, you're going to sit there and talk about gerrymandering.
Fire.
You know what, though? I'll take that over her sitting there talking about, like, I don't know, trans rights. I guess this is better.
Will you be involved in that?
By the way, Rachel Maddow would have been a much better presidential candidate. Like, much better. Way more effective communicator. Half the time, you could take any of these broadcasters at any of these networks, and they would be far better communicators than any of the people that they're tasked with interviewing. And I don't know who chooses these candidates, but it's like you could just go to any news agency and just grab one of those anchors and be like, hey, girl, come here. I got a little proposal for you. How would you like to do what you do, except like in the Oval? They would end up doing a better job. But I don't see Tucker and Rachel going at it. It's always like, I'm like, Pete Buttigieg? Are you joking me? Respect me. I can't listen to this guy. He sucks. He's a wet blanket. Give me somebody fun. Give me Greg Gutfeld. Okay? Give me somebody. Give me who's like a good Democratic. Let me see. I can't think of a good Democratic one. But I mean, Rachel Maddow would do a far better job. And I don't like her, but she's way smarter. Way better communicator.
For example.
And she does a way better Obama impression.
Support it. You mentioned Gavin earlier. By the way, Gavin has a great sense of humor. So
Oh, we know. You all get along.
he's going to be fine. But
Did you warn him about the hiking thing was going to? You did.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was like, I want to be in that
Gavin forever.
cabinet when he
literally
wins.
has a great sense of humor. But let me say about what he is doing with redistricting, it is absolutely the right way to go. Part of what we've got to, I think, challenge ourselves to accept is that we tend to play by the rules. But I think this is a moment where you got to fight fire with fire. And so what Gavin is doing, what the California legislature is doing, what those who are supporting it are doing to say, you know what, you want to play? Then let's get in the field,
My tongue is fully
let's get in the
blue.
arena, and let's do this. And I support that.
Speaking of a sense of humor, your book is very funny, which I think helps a lot, given that there's a lot of
have
this
to have a sense of
difficult
humor,
material.
yeah.
I'm going to read something where I have to bleep myself in the middle of reading it out loud, sort of. This is the part when Trump told an audience, National Association of
She's
Black
like, I
Journalists-
gotta cuss real quick. I know you're such a bad girl. I know you did a little cuss word in your book.
and that you happened to turn black and that you now wanted to be known as black. You say, on the plane that day when I first heard about Trump's remark, we patched in Brian Fallon, your senior advisor, communications advisor, on a call to strategize a response. Brian wanted me to punch back with a big speech about my racial identity, like the one Obama had given. I was so... I was so pissed that I didn't hold back.
Is pissed
Are
a cuss word?
you effing kidding me?
Okay.
I was not about to take Trump's bait. He lies all the time, I told Brian. He throws out outrageous statements to distract from the real issues. Quote, today he wants me to prove my race. What next? He'll say I'm not a woman and I need to show my vagina? I don't even know if I can say that. Brian, on the other end of the phone, fell silent. I imagined the deep crimson of his blush.
Yeah, these people act like saying like the word vagina is so transgressive. It's like you guys literally promote the mutilation of people's genitals, even if they don't necessarily want that themselves. And then you have the health insurance companies fund it. And then we realized through the trans movement, which I have trans friends, like I am not even, okay, I'm not some like enemy to trans people, not at all. Actual trans people, whatever. But I'm not talking about the ones that are just like caught up in a trend, which there are several. But like you realize actually health insurance companies do have power to do things and they can change things because there's like so many women that can get on, or I'm sorry, so many people transitioning that can get on hormones and get like, what is it? Gender affirming care, because it's a political thing. It's like a thing that's hot right now. It's a hot button issue, but there's like women that can't get adequate reproductive health insurance. But if you're changing genders, you have to get it. The health insurance company is required to give it to you because otherwise it's transphobic. You act like saying the F word is transgressive. Do you have any idea what your party pushes? And none of it is to help people with class issues, with economic issues, with things that actually would materially help their lives. It's all fake. It's all culture war. It's never anything tangible. It's never anything that could actually change anybody's life. Most trans people would benefit radically more from you lowering the cost of living than they would from like you getting a health insurance company that they likely can't even afford to give them gender affirming care. Give them like do rent control. Okay, do things that are tangible. Stop funding foreign wars. How about we all benefit a little bit?
All right. So first of all, you made me say it.
I really
She's so proud of herself for saying the F word and vagina.
How do you
These people
decide-
make me ill.
I mean, in the moment, particularly when it's so ridiculous, it's funny. How do you decide
That
when
being said, I'd love to get drunk with them.
take the bait and stay off the terms that he's trying to set for the debate and when to punch back?
And more than that, I'd like to get high with them. I would just like to get high. I've quit weed. I don't feel anything anymore. I've already said that. But man, are these not women that should be working in any sort of like government position or whatever it is Rachel Maddow does. She's like a mouthpiece for them. It's just, you guys should be like, Rachel Maddow should be living in like, I don't know, Portland, Oregon, owning a coffee shop with her wife. You know, that's what she should be doing. Kamala Harris is like, you should have had kids and been a wine mom because that's who you are on the inside. This whole thing is like fake. We don't care.
Learn about that in the price.
I'm the one watching it. It's like, clearly I care.
So, you know, Earl, I also talk about, you know, the first 2 weeks that I was the top of the ticket, we had no polling because no polling had been done on me. So it was my gut.
Yeah.
And And so I came up with this speech that
This is a
actually was
Vicodin
about,
wine
I was
mom.
a prosecutor. I dealt with people
Born to be a
who
Vicodin wine
engaged in
mom,
sexual abuse.
forced to be the vice
I was
president.
Attorney General. I took on people who engaged in fraud.
Forced to be Attorney
on
General
and
of
on
California.
And so I know his type.
I remember this line, yeah.
And because there is, there's something about in the English language that phrase, I know his type, that does a lot of work for you. Because it's something we all relate to, whether it was that boss, it was that person, whatever. I know his type. And so the character that I knew I was running against is someone, because he has shown it also. I mean, he did it with President Obama. He did it with Secretary Clinton. He throws this stuff out that he thinks will be an individual's weakness or Achilles heel. With the intent to
She was so
distract
proud
from
of
the
her
fact
use of
that,
Achilles
as it was
heel
in
just
this
then.
campaign, he had no
I was proud of her
plan
too, to be honest.
for actually bringing down costs and prices for the American people. He had very few plans for what he would actually do that was about the American people and not about an
Rachel,
execution.
do us a
of his
favor.
vengeance
Ask her what
on
a
his
tariff
enemies.
is.
And I
None of
was
us
about to fall
know.
for that bait. And the stakes were too high. The stakes were too high. You can't get in the gutter with that guy because that is the way that he distracts from the fact that, for example, right now, he promised the people who voted for him that on day one he'd bring down prices. And I do
Of
believe,
what?
Rachel, that's one of the main reasons that the people who voted for him elected him because they believed he would do it. He lied. We're now in a position where unemployment is up, inflation is up, the cost of groceries is up. So, as the folks used to say, don't fall for the okie doke.
The what? Is this the new coconut tree? Don't fall for the okie doke? Okay, you know what, guys? This is actually the best interview I've ever seen. She is mad entertaining. For all her faults.
Don't.
The okie doke.
Lots more to ask you. We'll be right back with Vice President Kamala Harris.
This is
Her
like,
new book
okay,
is
I can
called
do this all day.
107
It's like
Days.
Kathy Lee and
Comes out
Hoda.
tomorrow.
I love
It's gonna
Kathy
be
Lee
a
and Hoda.
massive bestseller.
There's like a
We talk
Twitter
more with
account I
Vice President
follow.
Harris. Just stay with us.
Of like great moments from Kathy Lee and Hoda. That's what this reminds me
Live
of.
with former
Rachel
Vice
and
President Kamala Harris. Her new book about her 2024 run for the presidency is called 107 Days. It's out tomorrow. Madam Vice President, I have to ask you about the part of your book that has people most upset thus far, which is some of your writing about the decision around the president abandoning his reelection campaign, the timing there and how it was handled. You say in part, page 46, it's Joe and Jill's decision. We all said that like a mantra, as if we'd all been hypnotized. Was it grace or was it recklessness? In retrospect, I think it was recklessness. The stakes were simply too high. This wasn't a choice that should have been left to an individual's ego, an individual's ambition. It should have been more than a personal decision.
I'm going to find this, you guys.
Whose decision should that have been? How should that decision have been made?
So when I write this, it's because I realize that
Okay, it's Kathy Lee and Hoda, no
and had a
context.
certain responsibility that I should have followed through on.
Which is what?
Which is, and so when I talk about the recklessness, as much as anything, I'm talking about myself. There was so much, as we know, at stake.
As we know.
And as I write, the where my head was at the time is that it would come off as being completely self-serving.
If you said to President Biden that you did not think he should run again.
Yeah, or even that he should question whether it's a good idea. But I think that, one of the reasons I wrote this book, Rachel, is there are actually a number of reasons. One is that it is unprecedented, right?
Is
to your
it?
point of what you said in your
Didn't
opening.
Hillary do this?
We had a president of the United States
Sorry for all the
running
warheads raised,
for
guys. It's hard to get through this.
re-election, 3.5
with her
months from
talking.
the election, decides not to run. The sitting vice president enters the race against a former president of the United States who's been running for 10 years with 107 days to go. And it ended up being the closest presidential election in the 21st century. And
Is that
there
true?
was so much about those 107 days.
Is that even true?
For me, and this
It
is
didn't
really
feel like
behind
it.
the
It
scenes
felt like
look
you were
at
getting
those 107
dogpiled
days
by Trump
was
and
about
Vance.
seeing
But hey,
people who seemingly had nothing in common coming together by
I
the
don't know.
thousands
Maybe it's true.
with a level of optimism and, dare I say, joy about the possibilities for America. And I hope to remind people about that light that people brought to it, and to remind people that that light is still there. And we can't let that be extinguished by an election or the individual who's in the office right now. Because to the point of all those folks who got out and protest about the Kimmel suspension.
And about everything else that people have protested.
Right. In the variety of ways, whether it be going to a protest or being, with their pocketbook or getting engaged in local and state and federal elections, they'll make a difference. And they've made a difference. And I guess the last point is that we've got to really remember that this person who's in the White House promised a whole lot of people who supported him and voted for him that he would do one thing, which is bring down costs and prices.
All right, girlie, you already saw that. She's the queen of repeating herself. I mean, she is a woman after all. Okay. All right, you guys, I'm going to show. This is what Rachel Maddow and Kathy Lee remind me of. This is this Twitter account that I love, X account that I love, called Kathy Lee and Hoda No Context. And it's just like Kathy Lee Gifford and Hoda Kotb getting drunk on the 4th hour of the Today Show. And it's actually some of the best television of all time.
Okay.
They really were such a funny duo together. And I didn't watch a lot of it as it was coming out, but I watched a lot of it later on, especially through this Twitter account. But they just they're just magic together. And they get drunk. It's like Rachel and Kamala can't actually get drunk on MSNBC, but if they could, this would be the show. I'm just playing random videos from
Now,
it.
let me show you. This is what they're like. And here's the great thing about these. Anyone can wear them. They're one size. And sometimes they
How could they be one size?
There's only one size. They stretch.
How?
And the great thing is, I've tried
This is
other
them.
underwear
This
that
is
look
Kamala
like this,
and Rachel.
and they say they're like hanky-pankies. They're not. You have to get hanky-pankies. Try these on.
I think all the lack
Try
of
them
sleeping
on.
on. No, I'm
Try
not
them.
going to
They're new.
floss
They
my
can't-
rear
no,
end.
try it.
No.
Try it in the commercial.
No,
Just
I'm not
try it.
trying them in the
Try it.
commercial.
There were these
They
ones
go
that I
over
liked a
Spanx.
few months ago that were absolutely the funniest things I've ever seen. I'm trying to find those again. They're just such magic together, the two of these women. When Hoda would play the music and they try to get Kathy to like it and she would sing along. Those are some of my favorites. Are they eating KFC right now?
Chicken Day. Can you believe there's a National Fried Chicken Day? National Fried Chicken Day. It's gotta be.
This is Hoda. Hoda and Kathy Lee are absolutely the same thing as Rachel and Kamala. I truly see no difference. Man, there were someone else watching recently.
We're going to make your texting life
This is from
infinitely
2014.
easier.
Okay.
Instead of pushing all the keys
And spelling everything out.
spelling everything out, why don't you just voice text?
This
It's
is so
much
cool.
easier than writing it. So here's how you do it. Okay, here's the phone. Now there's a little microphone.
The icon.
Wednesday,
The icon.
Wednesday.
So
They
I'm
drink
about
wine
to
on the
send
show
you a
on
text message. So
Wednesdays.
I'm going to push the thing, the microphone. I'm going to say, "Hey, Kathy Lee, would you like to go to lunch with me?"
You sound
Now,
drunk.
I am. Okay, and now look what happens. In just a minute.
Will
here
it
comes.
spell my name right?
Look at
No.
that. Oh, come on. Stop whining about your name spelling. That was awesome. Did you see that? Now.
This is
it should
Kamala Harris.
appear-
This is what Kamala Harris was meant to do.
What?
Hit send.
Oh. You know what? I'm going to hit send. Okay, let's see. Send.
Okay, now it should
Now
show
let's
up.
see. Isn't this so much better than speaking? Than
The things that
typing it all
excites
and
these
waiting
women-
for
Unless
the-
you think
Come
your
on.
friend is going to be offended that
It's
you don't know how
beautiful.
to spell their name right. It's perfect. Okay.
Yeah, and
looks
wait,
like I am.
it's not there yet. It's still sending. We don't have the greatest service here in the studio.
They're just such sweet. They're so easily said. Is this Matthew? Is this Anthony Weiner? What was that? I swear I just saw Anthony Weiner on there. Oh my God, it is. Yeah.
In several inappropriate conversations
This is Kathy Lee and Hoda in 2011. They just really go through the archive on this account. Kathy Lee and Hoda, no context, highly recommend on X. Great follow.
Facebook, email, and occasionally on the phone with women I have met online.
I think he did the Adam Friedland show recently. I don't know what's going on over there.
With about 6 women over the last 3 years.
Okay, you have a bone to pick. I'm sorry, you have an issue with that. I'm sorry. I honestly wasn't thinking that because my mind's not in the gutter.
No, no.
Go.
Yeah, I'm tired of these things being called inappropriate. Inappropriate is when you pick your nose in public. That's inappropriate. What it was doing is more than inappropriate. It's wrong. It's immoral, and it's wrong, and it's a total betrayal of his marital vows. I think we all understand. I don't think we need to see all that. All right. We all understand a human weakness because we're all human and we have them. I think it's the lying and lies. Well, he doesn't call them that, Hoda.
Over the past few
they
years,
kill
I've engaged
me.
in several inappropriate conversations.
What was the one I was watching and like, what's this one?
One time I saw someone put a lit cigarette in a mailbox.
Ew. Isn't that a federal offense?
It's terrible. I was so horrified. He said he looked crazy. I didn't say anything. Anyway.
That's all right. She's divorced now. Anyway.
They're great.
One time I saw someone put a lit cigarette in a mailbox.
They really just brighten my day, the two of these women. Like, why couldn't Kamala have done this? And Rachel, too, for that. I mean, Rachel's smart, but these two women are smart. You know, they don't take themselves too seriously.
How about Snapchat?
This is from 2015.
I just got on Snapchat and she's so annoyed.
So annoyed.
No, she hates it.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Also, they look
We're
amazing.
making breakfast.
Not for nothing.
It's exciting. You don't like it?
I think it's the most narcissistic, ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life.
Now,
there's a pat of butter in a skillet. And you call that entertainment?
No, now there's
and
the
then
breakfast.
You pan across.
No, there's the breakfast after.
You already showed me once. I'm moving on.
But look, I worked out.
No, people hate this stuff.
Wait, hold on. I went to Whole Foods.
Do you know how many people are turning off our TV now because of your dumb Snapchat, whatever it's called? Snapsnot.
It's called Snapchat. You're in it. My Snapchat name.
They just brighten my day.
I think it's my first and last name. Oh. No, I mean, if you want to join me on Snapchat.
I love them. They're like raw time. They're so good. This remains my absolute favorite account on this site. Somebody says, I kind of tend to agree.
This one's called a taitini.
It's like a
I didn't watch these then, but I like watching them now.
martini with the Thai in it.
Notice how tiny my little sips are and how she's slurping. Did you hear the slurp? You slurped. You just slurped on national television.
No, I didn't.
Did you enjoy it? I bet you like this one
This
best.
is my favorite, and it's yours.
Because it's the sweetest.
Yes. Don't you like it?
Yeah, but boy, this could put Bethany Frankel out of business.
Oh, yes, she has no idea what's
Right?
coming.
Yeah,
This is very cool.
Very cool, and it's a lot of fun.
Yes, beautiful.
Lights up, like you will after a few hours.
Bump.
And if you wanted to put it aside for just a tad and be a little healthier, there are wars going on, and we're not just talking about North Korea. It is there are these kinds of wars going on, Missy.
These are the frozen yogurt wars.
This one's
They're just they just kill me. I love them so much. I really love them. Yeah, I mean, next time that I start to get upset about anything, I'm just going to watch Kathy Lee and Hoda No Context. I love that when they would bring the animals to the...
Oh my gosh. You said we could get electrocuted.
But then they would always be mean to one animal, and that always upset me.
Are you sure? We'll be back after this.
Oh, no.
How do you know?
Because we don't want him to get zapped.
You got him?
So if you watched the earlier hours of the show today, you were treated to Sting on the plaza. Now, we talked to Sting when we were walking out. He is so sexy.
Oh, Hoda?
No.
Hoda?
No.
It is
was,
embarrassing.
no, it was... No,
Hoda had to change her Spanx, if you know what I mean.
They're just so good. How could he be upset with this? They make you want to be like 47 and drunk. Who wouldn't enjoy this? It's just innocent. It's so good.
So if you watch
They really, this one. Here's the ones I started to like. These are just some of the greats, you know?
So a 6-year-old boy, a Colorado boy, personally I think this is over the top, but he got a 3-day suspension, and again, the charge, it's sexual harassment. He sang a line from that song, I'm Sexy and I Know It. That's the LMFAO song.
I'm sexy and I know it.
The kids love the song. But it's not
The way she's dancing just kills
he sang
me.
it once and got in trouble, and then he was told never to sing it again, and he sang it again.
Sang it to a specific girl, Hoda. You always want to minimize, and that's why our country's going into the toilet.
How old is he? 6?
He's 6.
He doesn't know what sexy means.
That's why you.
This is what Kamala is supposed to do.
He doesn't even know what it means.
Adorable. Some kid did that to my little 6-year-old daughter,
She
too.
wouldn't know what it meant either.
If you tell, if the kid is told one time that it's wrong, you have an issue. If the kid does it right away again to the same girl, then you have a problem. And that's why kids they grow up to be bad behaving adults, Hoda, because nobody stops them at 6 years
I don't
old.
think they know what the words. Okay,
well, then tell them you may not understand it yet, but you're not to say it, and don't do it again.
I'm sexy and I know it.
Oh, you got Hannah here thinking it's just fine. I give up. There's so much I can do. You know,
Oh, they're so good.
that's fine. That's fine.
Okay, all right. Okay, all right. Okay, it's time for a sip.
Clink. How could you be upset with them? They're doing pillow fights. Please.
Oh, you okay? Are you all right? Fine. Come here.
It's great. This is what Kamala Harris was supposed to do. I don't know who told her to run for public office.
Oh, you okay? Are you all right? Fine.
They robbed her of the life she could have had on the 4th hour of the Today Show, getting fucking just absolutely rocked by a glass of wine every single day. This could have been her reality. Instead, she was almost our president. Did they have Gary Busey on? Are you serious?
Give us an example of abuseism,
Okay, example
please.
of abuseism is faith, F-A-I-T-H, fantastic adventures in trusting him. The word hope, heavenly offerings.
No, thank you, Busey. I love them so much. I really do.
Well, one of us does.
We have a problem with bad hair.
Well, one of us does. You're always saying it's your issue. I don't see it as an issue because you always look gorgeous every day because 20 people work on you. But once in a while I see you after a downpour and I think... Anyway.
I got a little too real there. Ooh. Oh my God. Oh, they're just so good. They're so good. I really could watch these all day. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna stop. I like them too much. I like them too much. Meghan Trainor. I like Meghan Trainor.
Wake up to Kathy Lee and Hoda. Get up, you'll be happy that you showed up. Cause we'll have a good time, maybe drink a little wine in the mornings with Kathy Lee and Hoda. Oh,
It's kind of a bop.
Kathy Lee and Hoda.
Oh, I love it! Can we start using it?
Anyways, this is what Kamala should have done. It's not what happened. A lot of times people don't do what they're supposed to do. What can you do? What can you do? All right, guys, this has been a very long episode. I don't know that it should have been this long, but I thought I'd do a little extra since I made the video go out and since it's been a little while since I've been back. But join me on the Patreon. I think I'm going to do an episode. I was going to talk about the DV4D David killer, okay, on this one, but there are more pressing issues, like the imminent collapse of our country, which I hope doesn't happen. okay, we have to fight to keep America great, even when the people who claimed they would keep it great are not living up to that promise. And yeah. The irony pill is actually irony poison, it turns out. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes a little irony, it ain't hurt nobody. But sometimes that irony does hurt some people. Sometimes it results in a guy getting brutally assassinated. And that isn't good. It's not good for anybody. God bless Charlie Kirk. God bless his family. Truly, I pray for them. I hope that they heal from this. I hope that this country heals from all of its woes. I hope that Palestine is freed. I hope that the world is just, drastically better tomorrow than it is today, or even a little bit better tomorrow than it is today. It's really all that we can hope for. And I hope for the mental health and the sanity and the physical health of everybody out there. And I just wish everybody the absolute best. And I thank you for listening. And especially if you're still listening at this point, you are such a real one. You are such a friend, and I appreciate you. And yeah, good night. Oh, follow me on TikTok, follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, join the Patreon. I'm going to create a free tier so you can join even if you can't pay. And there's more episodes on there, and there will be more coming on there. And yeah, good night and good luck.